people who were in that piece.
Yeah, I mean, what the Democratic Party said is, look, we understand that we are trying to reorganize here. We think that the David Hogg thing has been a distraction, but we have good fundraising. We're getting on track. We're building for the next election. Basically, wait and see. We're going to be there. I also heard from a lot of people complaining that they feel like they are organized. They are doing things on the ground. They're making things happen at their local party level. And I think that's true. And what I told them is that is all important. That's especially important for midterm elections. But you cannot win a national election without a national party. And
so who are they looking to then? Is it the governors? They've got a handful of governors that are impressing people, like the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Maryland, I guess, Wes Moore. And I guess Gavin Newsom, two-term governor of California, can't run again. He's term limited, I guess. Is that about it? Is that the slate?
I think there's a lot of excitement about Pete Buttigieg from some quarters, too. And then the same hesitations about him that we have seen in the past, that he's too young or he doesn't have a clear political base or he's too polished. A lot of these are questions that I think can only be answered by a primary. And there are clearly a lot of candidates who are not ready to put their name in, but are making all the steps you would take if you were going to run for president.
I was wondering if your piece provoked people to rethink again or to relitigate the whole Biden-Harris dynamic, because there are people who fault Joe Biden very much for not stepping off the scene sooner, not giving Kamala Harris an opportunity to kind of get herself in a better position. But other people look at that and say, no, really what they needed to have was a primary. They needed to have a real primary so that people could kind of fight it out, sharpen their messages, and really kind of galvanize the public.
I have heard a lot of that. And as you say, I think it's never gone away. I think that's symptomatic of part of the problem. In some ways, there is an accountability issue. A lot of people in Democratic politics vouched for Joe Biden and then quickly changed their mind after that first debate when it became clear he could no longer do the job. But in some ways, it's a bit of a irrelevant question. I mean, I can't imagine a situation where the Democrats are running an 80-something-year-old candidate in the same way. And so while that accountability is important, trying to understand what happened in the election has a limited utility because it's a one-off election. The question is what they're going to do in 2026 or 2028.
You said it's easier. You said this. It's easier to diagnose the problem than to solve it. But based on what you've seen and based on your reporting, what are some of the key steps you think the Democrats need to take?
I think Democrats need to take risks. They need to take positions that are interesting. They seem very cautious. And I think there's a real focus on a moderate versus left question. And I'm not sure that's necessarily the most relevant way